you really hate Sean Combs.
Why would they be thinking that?
Because of the things that you post on Instagram,
Look at this. And let's stop for a second and do say that I hated him enough to hire his kids. And we've never done anything to each other. So it's just competitive energy and things that you say about other artists while you're in hip.
Because there's a point where it kind of gets aggressive. He says, you're going to find out, like how I'll handle this. And that's an attorney want to be combative with another attorney. That's not like your publicist would say those things.
But one time walking in the studio and it was like a small gap and bleak beans. Everybody was in there and I was like, man, I'm telling you, man, y'all got a chance right now. Just flood it, put out a lot of music because 50 Cent.
Behind closed doors, according to sources, 50 Cent pushed to release remarks and video that he says link Jay-Z to disturbing activities related to Diddy. These accusations are not mere rumors. Rather, they are direct accusations that imply knowledge, possible involvement, and attempts to conceal specific facts. 50 refused to back down or soften his position. He later verified that the document was authentic and in his possession. He made it obvious that the footage exists and that he has it without backtracking.
How many victims?
There was none for her.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty.
According to people with knowledge of the situation, the footage's true significance lies in its purported suggestion that Jay-Z knew dubious activities were taking place around him but chose not to intervene. They say there are even more unsettling clues that he might have benefited from being silent while others suffered. If confirmed, the ramifications would go well beyond bad judgment and into very significant legal issues. The scale is currently the unanswered question. How many individuals were impacted?
Died because he was my son.
He died because of your.
He was targeted because he's my son.
He
was working on his EP. I bought Philadelphia for him so he didn't have to sign to a company because I knew what it was going to do. He interned at Roc Nation. And they approached him to sacrifice me. I saw his death when he was 19. I moved us here to stop it, to prevent it, to avoid it. They take them anyway to show you what the harm is. Right. Giovanni, his death is why I do what I do.
Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, bolstered the story by asserting that Jay-Z and Diddy were more closer than Jay-Z's lawyers later claimed. Not arm's-length companions or passing associates, but near enough to comprehend what was going on in secret. In light of this, discussions regarding significant legal dangers emerged. According to the accusations, Jay-Z didn't simply overlook warning signs. He was said to have been aware of it, to have kept silent, and to have been under pressure to hide things from others in the orbit. If any of that were ever established, it might affect areas related to coordinated concealment or interference. Jaguar Wright swiftly had those appearances taken down from a number of venues after he later made similar statements in public interviews. Nevertheless, she continued to speak. Some commentators bring out the terrible shooting death of her son shortly after, emphasizing that there has never been any confirmed or legitimate connection made to her claims.
Never investigated. Hype was never questioned. Lenny Kravitz made a statement. And it was never publicized. She was unconscious. She didn't choose to get on that plane. There were phone calls made. There are witnesses who signed NDAs. Why would you need to sign a non-disclosure agreement about a plane crash and what happened leading up to it? Please, someone answer that.
Do you feel like the night?
Why the fuck would you need to sign? A nigga don't ask about a plane crash if it was accidental.
Do you feel like?
Riddle me that. Riddle me that. Work with me here in this moment.
And I'm gonna ask you.
A plane crash should be accidental.
Should be.
Why would any testimony about what happened leading up to it need to be covered under a non-disclosure agreement if there wasn't?
Discussions are supposed to have been erased. Clips are said to have disappeared, and the documentary is said to have followed the same pattern of silent elimination. Claims that 50 Cent is looking back into the past and bringing Jaguar Wright forward to publicly discuss what she describes as a long trail of significant wrongdoing are now causing the story to resurface. Her most incendiary claims include the claims that Aaliyah's death was never fully investigated, even though it is not a confirmed reality. Wright consistently emphasizes a single, potent element when discussing Aaliyah. Why wasn't a thorough and open investigation conducted? Not constrained, not dismissed, but, in her opinion, never really explored to the extent that such a tragedy merited.
Carter, now I'm going to ask you, why would non-disclosure agreements need to be signed for an accident?
Okay.
There were over 25 non-disclosure agreements cashed out and recorded regarding the death of that beautiful girl and every other human being that died on that plane with her. What the fuck?
Oh.
What would you need a nigga don't ask for that? And Diddy had Hype Williams the balls. Belly was a money pit.
Without question.
And Jay-Z got 10 free videos out of Williams.
NDAs aren't about privacy. In her opinion, when someone wishes to keep the truth hidden, they use these techniques. Following Aaliyah's passing, Jaguar Wright claims that over 25 secrecy agreements were discreetly signed and paid for. She asserts that the purpose of those documents was to conceal what people saw, knew, and purportedly experienced before the flight's takeoff. She constantly using the same word. Why? For this reason. She then brings up Jay-Z's name in the conversation as she presses the subject further.
Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyoncé, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it.
According to Jaguar Wright, it didn't happen by accident. According to her, insiders were financially incentivized to remain silent. Influence was traded, and silence was rewarded. She believes that's why Jay-Z's name seldom ever comes up in public discussions about Aaliyah's death.
Saw Jay-Z. And he was working with R. Kelly, and they were making so many records together. You know, they made all those records together. They both fucked Aaliyah. They shared so much in common. You know? And then there was a falling out. And that's like it never happened. Whoever talks about best of the both worlds, best of both worlds. Nobody talks about that.
Nobody talks about this shit.
Nobody talks about that project.
That nigga swept that smooth under the rug.
Why?
We know why.
You know what? I got a better question.
Yeah.
How valuable is a Biggie Smalls verse?
Yeah.
Puffy has been making money off of Biggie's name for longer than Biggie was alive. People keep forgetting he hadn't turned 25 yet. He was still 24 when he died. It's been over 25 years. Fucking Puffy has been making money on that boy's name longer than he can live. It supported all of Bad Boy. His catalog. Clearly, a Biggie Smalls verse is very valuable. Am I wrong? Does anybody disagree with me?
No, that's facts.
So then what the fuck happened to the commission? What happened to that album?
Right.
It was recorded. It was being mixed and mastered upon Biggie's death. It was supposed to have came out that summer after Biggie's album because Biggie's album was slated. He died a week and a half before his album came out. Then the commission was supposed to come out, and that was supposed to be his exit from Bad Boy. And then starting his own company. So tell me something. And this ain't me being an asshole. I think everybody that knows Sean Carter knows that he will slump anyone in any relationship.
Jaguar Wright possesses a heavy and brutal stance. She contends that there would have been no justification for stringent silence, legal restrictions, or subsequent reported financial settlements if Aaliyah's death had actually been the result of a terrible accident. She argues that Jay-Z's name merits serious examination because of his quick ascent in the years that followed and the end of public interrogation. Tupac and Biggie's deaths reduced the competition for rap's top slot to Nas and Jay-Z, and from her point of view, that was the turning point when things started to go Jay-Z's way. According to her, Jay-Z continued to rise with each album and business move until his domination became certain, while Nas gradually lost momentum and disappeared from the center. Jaguar claims that Jay-Z and R. Kelly had ties within Aaliyah's social circle and were working closely together on several songs and tours around that time. According to her, these were overlapping linkages within a single, intricately linked industry world rather than distinct paths that happened to cross.
If I'm trying to sell something, him and his lawyers, Alex Shapiro, putting a false lawsuit on me, like that, devaluing anything that I have or trying to sell. But, or even down to we were selling Rockware, right, for like $400 million or whatever. I was going to make $40 million. And right before Tommy Hilfiger signs the papers, he makes an announcement saying that he's not f***ing with Rockware, that he's only f***ing with S. Carter. The whole shit up. And I just feel like he did that only because I was going to make $40 million. Like, he just couldn't see, like, they get so mad if I'm going to make money off them. Like, every time I could have made a really big check, he's always stepped in and intentionally f***ed it up. Every time. Listen, don't ask me, ask the rest of the industry. Like, that's why I got the f*** away. Well, I mean, one of the reasons. Like Jay, I like the way I would look at it, if you could compare him to like a character now, I'd say he's like the Penguin. He's like ruthless like that with his friends or people that help him. At least that's how.
She also draws attention to what she perceives as a trend in which Jay-Z distances himself from influential people who first helped him succeed. She contends, using Dame Dash as her primary example, that the breakup of their collaboration was a deliberate action that demonstrated Jay-Z's resolve to establish authority, maintain control, and protect the empire he was creating rather than merely being a result of financial disputes, even if it meant severing relationships with people who had previously supported him.
Aaliyah died. And then they brought Rich Harrison in, and kind of think it's crazy right now. She liked posing with him in pictures for Page 6. Aaliyah didn't. She fell in love with Dame. And Aaliyah's gone, and you have to start asking yourself questions after being in this business for this long. If you're a halfway intelligent person, when do you start questioning how lucky some motherfuckers keep getting?
Right.
Is it really a conspiracy if the same person keeps benefiting off the same kind of tragedy over and over and over again? So to answer your question, I'm sure he's always going to be a billionaire, and I'm sure he's got great things to happen. I mean, look, he's got the job with the NFL. He's hooking all his friends up with the halftime shows. I mean, think about it. Think about the halftime shows. Jennifer Lopez, Shakira, all Rock Nation. Now Rihanna, and then we had the whole LA thing, which of course he was involved in that, and then they pulled Mary J. Blige off to, you know, make sure she got that money for Kendall, and you know, they had that whole moment, you know, but all he's doing is using his friends and the people that he fucks with, or at least the people that signs his non-disclosure agreements. He keeps getting them the Super Bowl gigs. So I mean, like, he's doing all kinds of stuff, you know, and I do not begrudge him. It's just, if you got to do the kind of things that he's done to get where he's gotten.
Jaguar then returns to the subject of Aaliyah, stating that her passing occurred during a time when other significant careers were simultaneously changing. She notes that although other figures gradually lost attention, Jay-Z's influence and prominence continued to grow in the wake of the incident. Years of observing the sector have made it impossible for her to ignore some tendencies. Furthermore, she contends that despite all the controversies and upheavals, the same name kept coming up unaffected, while others vanished.
Rihanna was sold to Jay-Z at 16 years old. She explained how it was super sketchy that Rihanna got brought to America at only 16 years old without any parental supervision, and how she auditioned for Jay-Z at 3 o'clock in the morning. She explained how it didn't make sense that Rihanna's parents would let her fly by herself after just meeting Evan Roberts all the way to America to meet with Jay-Z in the middle of the night. And she alleged that Rihanna's dad got a $500,000 payout for letting this happen. She alleged since this was all out of the blue, Rihanna would have had to flown on a private plane to get from Barbados to America because she wouldn't have had a visa and her parents were not around with her to fly to America. And Rihanna even explained how Jay-Z would not let her leave until she signed the recording contract, and the label locked her in the office until 3 a.m.
You've gone through some big changes since you've been signed at Def Jam. Can you tell me what are the biggest changes you've gone through from St. Michael's, Barbados until now you being a superstar?
Well, one of them for sure is being away from my friends and family. After growing up around my mom and all my friends for 17 years, and then moving to a big city with no one, because all my family and friends are still in Barbados. So after moving to a big city with, you know, basically around strangers, that was the hardest thing for me to cope with at first.
Are you lonely sometimes?
I wasn't lonely, but I really do miss my family and my friends.
And a lot of people have speculated this for years about Rihanna because people found it super weird. Right before Jay-Z signed Rihanna, he was working heavily with a 16-year-old Tierra Marie who signed to Def Jam by L.A. Reid. And after a while, there was rumors circulating all over that Tierra Marie and Rihanna actually had a fallout because Rihanna's career skyrocketed and Tierra Marie got let go from Def Jam. And allegedly, Tierra Marie is the Jane Doe that is suing Diddy and L.A. Reid for SA when she was just 16.
Using Rihanna as a well-known example, Jaguar Wright also expresses concerns about what she calls a long-awaited problem concerning Jay-Z and very young performers. She asserts that although Rihanna was still a minor when she initially entered the music industry, she was handled more like a business asset than a teenager in need of protection and structure. Wright claims that influential people in Jay-Z's inner circle had a key role in putting Rihanna in settings she feels unsuitable for her age, including private parties, high-profile industry venues, and other settings. She portrays this as a purposeful pattern that shows how young talent was managed behind the scenes rather than as a coincidence.
Almost blacklisted.
Oh no, absolutely blacklisted. They didn't tell you you were blacklisted. It's just the jobs that you used to get easy. All of a sudden there were other people. There was a new direction. There were restaurants you used to eat at that were always sold out. Your table wasn't available. It is the shunning.
Yeah, exactly.
Social shunning. And then when people that you know who you are start start talking about you behind your back in ways that they never did. And all of a sudden their career begins to elevate.
Yeah.
It's social engineering. And the sad thing about it is, every last rapper that you said fucked you over also happens to be a government informant.
Yeah.
Why would you think that you had a chance against these people when everything that they do, the government seems to ignore? It seems like they were untouchable because you didn't know that they had a deal.
Right.
They had permission to act like assholes and never have to be accountable for it, or so the government said, so they get to fuck over people like you and people like me and people like Aaliyah and people like Rihanna, people like Lauryn Hill and people like Rakim, people like Nas. You know what I'm speaking.
Yeah. But even back in 2005, when we had spoke to the FBI,
yeah,
I didn't think of her like.
See if you were willing to testify against him, so they would know whether or not they were going to have to move.
Using his personal experience, Jonathan Hay, a public relations professional at the time, echoes some of that narrative. He remembers that Rihanna was frequently dragged into clubs and high business settings where age verification was necessary because many people in her immediate vicinity believed she was older than she actually was. He claims that people didn't know she was only 17 until one evening when she couldn't produce identification. According to Jagger Wright, the harm had already been done by that point. She says those who voiced concerns in private started to lose opportunities, while Rihanna's early team those she feels were grounded and protective were gradually pushed aside and replaced by new management. This is a standard industry approach. According to Hay, when employment dry up, doors close without warning, and communication just ends. It's not an outright ban.
Was there at the beginning of her career, who took such great care to get her there. She shouldn't have been stripped from her team.
Right.
From her protection, no different than a rose. They went into the garden and they stripped the thorns and they pulled it out, and they've been ripping petals off piece by piece, year for year.
Correct.
Change that.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
For her.
Yeah.
And for every other child girl like her.
And you know, you're doing. Listen, you're doing the same thing that Dream Hampton did when she laid out the R. Kelly case for the prosecutors to finally, after 20 years, go and charge him.
You know, Dream is one of Jay-Z's girls too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the way that she
to do that right.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you wanted to take him out?
Her to do Surviving R. Kelly and Bring In Me Too. Just like he loaned his lawyer Spiro to Tupac's family so that they can get to the bottom of his unalivement.
Jaguar further claims that Jay-Z's influence prevented scrutiny and that he filmed videos with really young models abroad. According to her, financial pressure, secrecy agreements, and stringent contracts were used to keep everyone silent. In a broader sense, she contends that young musicians and minors are typically the most at risk in the music industry, as they are generally treated more like commodities than like people once they sign contracts. Rihanna, in her opinion, was one of those young artists who got sucked into that system.
Yeah, you got him in trouble. See, you got him in trouble because Jay-Z came here.
You think he was on this show? We should put him on, put it out there.
Yeah, you did, because he didn't. He was saying nothing like that any other place. You know? Do you know him to be aggressive or to start? He said something about me first on your show, Tim.
It must have gone over my head at the time.
Yeah, all right, well, look. What happened is...
What happened?
You was talking to him about the Kanye West.
He was actually sitting where you're sitting right now.
Right. About the Kanye West thing. And I said at that point that Kanye wouldn't have came and took no trophy from me. And Jay goes, let's get it straight. Nobody's afraid of 50 Cent. Let's be
put
clear.
It out there.
Nobody's afraid of 50 Cent.
Put it out there random from nowhere.
Yeah, but really he should have been making it clear with you.
Which he didn't.
he didn't make it clear with you that he's not a punk. See, at that point, his safe presentation, he's not identifying with the transition and difference and the perception of Jay-Z. Now he's really safe, and people feel comfortable with him because they know he's not going to do anything inappropriate or try not to is inappropriate. Meanwhile, when he's saying he's not afraid of 50 Cent, why would you have to make that clear when no one's ever asked me if I'm afraid of Jay-Z?
It was random at the time.
Yeah.
Came from nowhere.
He probably didn't mean it.
How did you feel about it?
It was interesting. It just was something to address because it was public. If it was something that was being said behind the scenes, I would have probably said, well, anybody that would openly be afraid of somebody would be a complete punk.
She contends that Jay-Z held positions of authority where he could protect others. Instead, she claimed, individuals were silenced, replaced, or ignored in order to maintain momentum and financial gains. According to her, anyone seen to be a hindrance was merely pushed aside. She links that way of thinking to what she claims has motivated 50 Cent's recent efforts to discredit Jay-Z, asserting that it originates from experiences from 50's early career. She claims that this approach caused frustration, which eventually solidified into intense animosity. She claims that in order to comprehend it, you must go back around 16 years to when 50 Cent made an appearance on Tim Westwood's show and discussed industry politics and issues with Jay-Z in an open manner. 50 described Jay-Z as smooth, strategic, and always composed during that interview. But he also made a comment that many listeners found oddly poignant and noteworthy.
Like his presentation is really safe. Even the glasses, what the glasses represent? Intelligence, right? A nerd, maybe? 4 eyes. What are some of the things that come along with you being a nerd? Like, don't hit a guy with 4 eyes. He doesn't want any trouble. It makes you more approachable, doesn't it? Alongside the past, the Beyoncé past. I'll be honest, I mean, Tim, you're aware of international. You are like flex here. I've always said that. I always felt like that, right? And there ain't never been no 50 Cent Jay-Z conversations questioning whether there was a competition between the two of them.
So Jay-Z recently said something crazy about he said nobody's scared of 50 Cent.
I think he would have done that if that was 50 Cent. No one's scared of 50 Cent. I want everyone to be clear. No one's scared of 50 Cent.
I think it was kind of taken out of context a little bit, but what do you think about it?
I don't think it was taken out of context. No, I think the guy who was talking to him made him feel like a punk. You see what I'm saying? So he had to say, yo, nobody scared of 50. Let's get this clear. Nobody is scared of 50. You know, but I'm not the issue. Him making you feel like a punk is the issue. And at the end of the day, I look at it and people don't assess themselves. Even really intelligent people. Jay's a smart guy. You know what I'm saying? He'll analyze other people and other things that they're doing and not actually look at what's happening to him and his transition and difference. But his right now, he's in a real safe space. He created this real safe aura. This is why people walking on the stage and why shit is happening like that. A lot of it wouldn't have been like that if he actually dealt with his issues himself. See, he's a piece of work, man. He always put somebody in front of him. When Jada came for him, he put Beanie in front of him. And Beanie went back and forth with Jadakiss. When Cam came for him, he put True Life in front of him. And they went back and forth. And he just didn't compete.
Him and Alicia are supposed to be doing a song again at the AMAs, but they're gonna have like 20 security members on the stage making sure nobody bum rushes the stage.
It makes sense.
That's crazy. I think everyone was kind of like just going crazy that night anyway at the MTV Awards.
Yeah, but that's not... Nah, everyone wasn't.
Kanye.
They just felt... You gotta feel comfortable enough to do that. Like, see, don't get fucked up. I'll fuck up. You do some shit like that, and I'll fuck up. Let me just go on record with that shit, because I ain't really with all that dumb shit. I think everybody already know that. And they know, like, they already know. Bitch, you wouldn't have walked up there no matter how hot your record is. She'd enjoyed that shit from the seat, like everybody else. Like, yo. Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't have walked up there. You know fucking better. Like, it's not that comfortable when I'm around. You know I'm coming with something that can make the response right away if they do something crazy. Right? How you gonna be doing what I'm doing and become
50 then withdrew to reveal the surrounding terrain, because his own albums were selling millions of copies and expanding his influence well beyond the United States. He believed there was little competition on a global scale. At home, however, Jay-Z had a different kind of stature. He stood out from the group due to his distinct presence, measured energy, and influence. He had constructed the image of the smart, polished, unassailable strategist, dependable figure in the industry that insiders and executives felt comfortable supporting. However, 250, that meticulously maintained Fakaday, was always a cover for something that was never quite right. Jay-Z wasn't the only one with authority. While 50 was still vying for position, he carried that authority in a way that allowed him to observe from the outside as doors opened for one man and remained locked for another. I'm doing and feeling at ease. Since what's being discussed here involves very serious accusations against actual people, none of which have been validated by reputable investigations or proven in court, I will respond to this thoughtfully and properly. Usually, there isn't a big overnight impact when allegations like this begin to circulate, particularly when they include personal grievances, industry competition, and charges of misbehavior. It's among the few feasible routes. Formal legal or journalistic investigations start when confirmed evidence emerges. To preserve their reputations, the people listed fight back through lawyers and public denials. Alternatively, the news gradually loses traction while remaining in the rumor loop without confirmation. Prominent individuals work in an environment where charges by themselves can create a stir, but only when supported by concrete evidence can repercussions ensue. It's also crucial to keep in mind that repeating or expanding upon unsubstantiated accusations may inadvertently disseminate false information or unfairly hurt people. As of right now, everything associated with these stories is still conjecture and first-hand accounts rather than proven facts. Therefore, until something specific is confirmed, the most likely next steps would be media attention, legal reactions, or silence.